When you think of your dream body, you probably picture a lean, aesthetic, movie star physique, someone like Brad Pitt or Daniel Craig. In the back of your mind, you're thinking there's no way that's possible for you, not with your lifestyle. But that's a lie rooted in the misunderstanding of the process. The truth is that getting your dream body is a lot simpler than you think. In this video, I'm going to break down why that is and 3 principles you can implement today to stop feeling overwhelmed and finally get the physique you want. My name is Dominic and I run a health and fitness concierge for traveling professionals. We help them optimize their health, their presence, and peak performance with a system built around their life with the help of a team of experts. There are 2 lies holding you back from your dream body. First, the lie that you need to be huge. That is not the case. In fact, I'm 6 feet tall and weigh 148 pounds. The secret to looking like a movie star isn't about having tons of muscle. It's just about having the right amount of muscle in the right areas, combine that with being at a low body fat percentage. This means that the body you want is far closer than you could ever imagine and doesn't take decades of work. The second lie is that it requires a sacrifice of your life. That you need to spend 6 days a week in the gym, do hours of vigorous cardio and follow a brutal diet. That is neither realistic nor required of your lifestyle. The truth is that if you follow the right principles, you can spend less than 3 hours a week in the gym, not do any vigorous cardio, and still eat the foods you enjoy for every meal. That's exactly what we specialize in at Lazy Shredded. We've used these exact principles to get pilots, executives, VPs shredded. It's not just theory, it's proven and backed by science. So now you're thinking, Dom, tell me more. How is this possible? Here are 3 principles you can implement today to stop feeling overwhelmed and finally get the physique you want. Principle 1 is systems over willpower. I genuinely believe that this is where most people go wrong. They think that willpower will get them to the finish line. The truth is that willpower is finite, and especially after a long workday, you've had back-to-back meetings, maybe you just coming off of a flight, a red eye, and now you expect to have the motivation to show up to a workout. And even if you do find the motivation, you head to the hotel gym. Now, because you don't have a dumbbell-only routine for that specific hotel gym, you waste time on YouTube. By the time you found a routine that is not even tailored to you, you're like, fuck this, and you're out of there. Am I right? And here's the thing, we have systems when it comes to our career, when it comes to our business. We don't will our way to profitability. Systems allow you to automate. Systems allow you to take the emotion out of it. Systems decrease decision fatigue. And I'm actually going to share my screen with you to give you an example. What we call this is the back end, behind the scenes, concierge execution. And we solve our client problems with either a concierge execution, which is something we handle for them, or we give them certain mental models. And I just want to give you an example of what I mean by a system. So let's have a look at maybe a travel problem, right? Let's say a business dinner, okay? The problem is social pressure, but also what do you eat? Okay, cool. So from the concierge side of things, from the team side of things, we'll make real-time adjustments to their nutrition plan based on the photo of their meal. We'll also adjust their macros for the next day to ensure they stay on track with 0 guesswork on their part. And then from their side of things, we give them these mental models to be in these situations, because I was actually speaking on our founders call yesterday with some of the high-level clients, and they were just mentioning that, yes, we can help them prepare ahead of time, where we look at the menu, we give them certain suggestions, but sometimes it's just a lot more sporadic, or the client chooses the destination or the restaurant, and then it's like, what do you do? So that's where we give them these mental models. And one of them is strategic allocation. I love that one because if I know I have a big dinner, I will strategically eat less throughout the day or even a few days in advance to save my calories for that evening. And that way you're still staying on track no matter what happens, and you are in control. I have many more mental models I could dive into, but that is what I really mean by systems over willpower. And the whole goal of having systems over willpower is just to create the path of the least resistance to you getting your dream body, to you becoming shredded. Another thing I talk often about is just optimizing your environments where possible, making it easy to win. The second principle is focusing on high leverage actions. If you're familiar with the Pareto principle, it's focusing your efforts on the 20% that drive 80% of the results. The biggest problem I see is that people waste so much time on things that don't even matter. Like, okay, which whey protein should I choose? At the end of the day, who cares? There are way more important things that really get you 80% of the results. When a client joins us, the first thing we do is, after we've done the audits where we have a good understanding of them and their lifestyle, we take them to the foundations and the first levels. And this is what I mean by that. And a big part of that is, for example, identity. If we can shift your identity, we can make the outcome inevitable, because we do everything based on identity. The second thing, as I was mentioning, optimizing your environment, but then also what is the biggest bottleneck for that individual, and then let's solve for that. And that's what I mean by first levels. Like, are you consuming enough protein? Are you in a calorie deficit? Are you sleeping sufficiently? Are you training 3 hours a week with the right intensity and right technique? You do that over a consistent period of time, you will see results and you will look incredible. And the final principle ties into the previous principle I mentioned, and that is identity focus. Again, we do everything based on how we see ourselves, our identity. I know that the reason I take care of my health is because I see myself as a healthy person, and that is the shift we try to make for every single client that joins us. Because if we can do that, we just need to give them the right strategy, and results like these are inevitable. Genuinely inevitable. Chief IP counsel spent decades spinning his wheels. 6 months later, shredded. Because the best part about making the identity the main focus is that once you have the right strategy, it just becomes a matter of time. Now, if you've already made it part of your identity, you're probably missing the right strategy. And that is probably because you're following advice made for people with time to waste, countless free time, and a predictable schedule. The details are the nuances, but the principles are everything. Start applying these principles today, and I promise you, you will make significant progress. You are closer than you could ever imagine. There are very few things in life that if you do just them consistently, that they will affect every other area of life. And health, looking amazing, feeling amazing, is one of them. You've built your career through high leverage, strategic actions. Now it's time you do the same for your health. I hope this was valuable. I'll see you in the next one.